That was an interesting campaign.
Yup, it sure was.
Initial thoughts?
I hate the wind.
Oh, yeah.
Initial thoughts, based on my initial experience, I think we talked about this in some other video, my initial experience with this game was not a good one.
Oh, yeah, you did mention that.
This has got me to appreciate the tactfulness of this. This is way more, there's way more tactics involved in this than I think any other game that we play.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just because of like the, well, like in the last game, like me trying to essentially set up an ambush. Because like in bolt action you can't really, you can, but it's harder to do.
It is harder, yeah.
Because you're going to end up killing stuff before they get to where you want to ambush them. Air One, the ambush. I don't really think the ambush in Air One kind of works.
Yeah, not quite.
It doesn't work like
it doesn't work the way you want it to.
Tactics. Well, I'm trying to think what else we play.
Yeah, anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's compare to what we've done 40K since the new edition. Yeah, that's definitely.
I haven't played anything. You played more Ninth than I haven't played a single game of Ninth.
Definitely. Oh no, not Ninth, but even Eighth. Yeah, much more tactically here. Oh wow. Yeah, no. This has been. It's interesting. Forcing you to play in this campaign, forcing you to play the smaller ships, adds a lot to the experience, I think.
Yeah, and like I talked about in a comment, and then I've talked to you about it probably off camera, maybe even on camera. I think I would redo if and when we do this again. I think I start out with like 5 or 6 brigs.
Yeah.
And just if I want a bigger boat, I capture a bigger boat.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's a nice kind of addition. We kind of enabled the capturing mechanic, which definitely helped you a lot.
Yeah.
You were losing more. This last game, granted, I ended up capturing more, and I did capture 2 of your ships one of the games, but it's a good way to replace losses because the money it can swing more than I thought it could in the game. I honestly did not expect the game to be as not so close. The campaign.
I thought it was over after, was it game 2 when we fought each other?
That would be 3. No, you're right. I think it was 2.
It was
one of the 2. Yeah, I think it's turn 3. I game 3.
Turn 3.
Turn 3 when we fought each other.
I thought it was over.
That was No, that was turn 2. You were right. That was turn 2.
Yeah.
Because
I lost a lot that game.
Yes.
I thought it was. But, I mean, this doesn't have. It's not as bad of a snowball effect in this game.
I think there's ways around it because one of the things I noticed every single turn I took espionage materials, and then to offset the danger rate, as many of the cheapest wheat, like I had wheat, that I could get to bring the danger rating down. Still didn't help. We both rolled high on the. Yeah, that was never good. But with your brigs, taking 5 brigs, that I think is 2,000 pounds, you can take an espionage material and 11 wheat, and that'll keep you down. Or sorry, 9 wheat, and that will keep you down around 2 danger rating. The espionage materials is free.
Yeah.
So, and you get 1,200 if the ship doesn't die or strike its colors during the game. So I think the espionage materials play a little more into it than into what happened for me.
Do you think it's overpowered?
No, because again, having 10, it's a big deal. Now remember, when you on an average roll for your opposing fleet, I think it's going to be around 11 is your average roll, and that's I think that's Frigate Frenzy is the. So you're going to be fighting a mid-sized fleet, so it's getting it to be a +2 is going to put you into at least that level more quickly. If you go all wheat and you're down to a danger rating of 1, you're going to hopefully half the time, or a little less than half the time, fight something a lot smaller, and your 5 brigs would be able to polish off those lower, smaller 2 lists.
I think just part of it was, I think after after the first game, I kind of had to change my mindset because I thought with you, just the name of it, I think kind of misled me a little bit, and I had to rethink. They're just like small. Okay, so I thought most of the missions would be trying to get from one end to get off the table.
You know, I kind of thought the same thing.
And I'm like, okay, this isn't anything like that. I have to stick around and fight. I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, there's 3 missions that to me felt smuggler-ish. One is, which we didn't get to do, was capture the prize, which you're racing across the length of the table to get off the table, which we never rolled that one. Then the other 2, the 2 that are developed here. One is the Smugglers Run, which is where we fought each other, because you're dropping stuff off. And then the third one is the one where we had to get to the corner with that stupid patrol in the way.
Yeah.
Those felt smuggler-ish.
The rest,
the other kind of not so much.
Like pitch battles.
Yeah, they kind of were. At least with this one, with the islands, from a narrative perspective, it kind of seemed...
It made a little bit more sense.
Yeah, but I think having a way to escape and preserve your fleet might be something you could add to the campaign. It shouldn't be... Just leaving the table shouldn't automatically count you as having surrendered, like a strike ship. But at least to be able to provide you with the chance of preserving your fleet and cargo against an overwhelming, like I had. I mean, that third rate scared the heck out of me this time. And if it wasn't for the fact that you were slowed to go through the islands, I wouldn't have had the time to knock out the brigs. Now, granted, I did get lucky with the brigs, but still.
But
if I had a way to escape the table, so I don't have to worry about the 3 veteran brigs or the third rate. I wouldn't have made any money, but I also
wouldn't have lost any boats.
And in your case, that would have saved you a few of the games.
No, I didn't mind that. That third rate had to go slow through there for my like in the previous, like I explained with my plan, and that he had to, because if I put him up there too fast, then you potentially see what I was, because I feel like at the end of the game you didn't know what I was trying to do.
No, I didn't. I didn't know exactly what you were trying to do because I didn't see what you could do. I missed that you would be able to snake your way through the middle 2 islands there. I completely missed that one. I was figuring, he's safely out there. He'll always be firing at long range. No big deal. My large merchant, Jennifer, could handle it and dish out 3 back, so basically 6 guns back. So I wouldn't hurt you heavily, but I'd give you something to think about. I was wrong. You did well. You snaked that one really well.
Not as good as you did that one with the Coastal Patrol. I think it was that Coastal Patrol boats that were just like, we're an inch away.
We just threaded the needle between the ships to avoid entanglement. That was something else.
I'll remember that. That was amazing. I was like, holy crap. Give that guy an admiralship.
Yeah, I was pleased. And playing with the smaller ships, I had more fun playing the games in this campaign. Ignore the campaign itself. Just playing the games in this campaign were more fun than playing any other games I've played of Black Seas, where you're fighting, frigates on frigates or brigs on brigs, third rates and third rates.
I agree. This was what even the Naval Academy series, because a lot of those games were like, especially the catch the prize in that one. But these games were just, as stupid as it sounds to say, it's a campaign. I mean, they told a better story than.
Oh yeah, they really did. Yeah.
And they played out better. Not that the Naval Academy ones weren't. Some of them felt like I was way overmatched, and it's nothing you specifically did.
Oh right, yeah, no, it's just I think the way those scenarios are run, you have to. Well, there are a couple that are kind of a little off, like the catch the prize, but a lot of them they're kind of hard because if you're not used to playing the game, it's hard to get good at those. And
it's
this. Go ahead. I think
this is a game that I think you have two things. One, if you play this game, I think in order to get good at it, you have to do it a lot. This has to be your main game.
Yeah.
because being able to figure out the wind, being able to just look and see, okay, when I move here, I'm going to have a broadside.
Right.
Rather than like, moving like here and there.
Mm-hmm.
And this game, more than I think any other game that I've played, the list building element to it is way more important. Because like if you build a, like say bolt action, just because I can see my Germans over, if I build a crappy list in that, there are ways for me to overcome that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
This, if you build a, hey, I'm going to take 10 schooners just because I think it'd be funny, you're dead.
Yeah. Well, and that's what the thing that kind of, I didn't know it going in to the game, to the campaign. But what the little nuggets I knew, well, is that sturdy was a very economical one. And it lets your stuff stay alive longer. What I didn't realize, of course, overgun, I just like it because I just like being able to roll more dice. But that's not a very efficient upgrade.
No, it's not.
Not even close. Even though it's costed cheaper in this than in the main game, it's still, not good. But what I was surprised at was the two different things that I did that made such a big difference. One was putting sturdy on the two merchants. Neither of them ever died. I mean, one came really close to getting hurt, but they were never destroyed, and they were a bear for you to attack at any point, and they won a lot of those close combats. The other upgrade that I never realize was so important was the veteran one.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you didn't say that, I was going to say
Man, it's...
Because when I built my initial fleet, I wasn't even thinking that. I was like, okay.
No.
I was just like, I don't need any...
Yeah.
Upgrades never even crossed my mind. I was like, oh.
Right.
Then when you showed your fleet, I was like, oh yeah. I could have upgraded all that stuff. I was like, I'll do it the next game. I didn't have the boats to do that in the next game.
Or the money. Because
the
first game didn't work out so well for you. But I had the money.
Any money that first game.
Yeah, I made enough money to do the veterans on a lot of my ships the first game. So, and that I think is what carried me to put the hurt on the customs patrol, because instead of rolling and hitting on 2s and 3s, I'm hitting on 5s and 6s, which is double the number of hits.
If this sounds really weird, and I don't know if and when we do this again, I just throw this out there as a weird idea. Okay. Let's try and find a third player, and let them do the custom patrol.
Okay.
And do a... They don't necessarily have, like, the... say, because I know there's a couple of the journey homes where, like, they take your stuff.
Yes.
Then he would get to take the stuff.
Right.
He would have his own separate... It's like when he gets his fleet deployed to him, he has this amount of money. He could upgrade them.
Interesting. Okay. So,
I mean,
instead of rolling randomly like we've done with the...
No, we would still do that. He would have, like, say, whatever boat that is.
Third rate,
Your third rate. That would be his flagship. He would always have his third rate. Okay. But, like, every other, like, when he gets, like the last one, which was the Coastal Patrol, what was that?
3 brigs and a schooner.
He would get those assigned to him to go patrol these waters.
Okay. Okay.
Then he could spend... The only thing... we'd have to figure out a way to... Because he could get too over... Well, I guess not, because he's going to get different boats every time. He could get his initial upgrades on his
primary ship.
His primary ship. Then he could dish out, like, okay, I know we're going in... Say, like, in the scenario we just did, I'm going to... It's like, I know there's a lot of islands and stuff. I'm going to replace this crew with a veteran crew for this. I'm going to pay for the veteran...
right. One thing I just don't...
But, like, but that would only be against the game, say, against you. If when he's going up against me, he would have to buy... Because he's going to... You think about it, if, like, the stealing the... Not stealing, but taking the cargo and stuff... If he potentially gets that from both of us, and he's running the same fleet, exact same fleet against both of us, we're dead because he's going to have so many upgrades.
Could be.
So it'd be like a different... I mean, it's a different fleet, so it's...
We might have different mechanisms to increase him, though. Because what your idea of the flagship, he gets a flagship, right? Maybe he starts the game with a 6th rate. And then everything is added to that. But when he rolls when we roll with our danger rating things, and to find out what the rest of the fleet is. If at any point one of those ships is bigger, like a 5th rate or a 3rd rate,
he takes that boat.
He replaces his with that bigger ship, and it becomes his new flagship that he keeps regardless. The only time it wouldn't happen is when that inexperienced 1st rate.
He wouldn't get to keep the upgrades though.
Well, no, right. Yeah, not even a crew, because he'd be able to transfer his crew, but
I would say he could keep
smaller.
his crew, but
I guess he could,
because he would have that core veteran crew.
Yeah,
but like
I can see that.
More cannons and stuff like that, and he wouldn't be able to take. No.
Yeah, and I think limiting the improvements like for streamlined hull, that could only be bought upon the very first time you bring the ship in. Yeah, so there's a lot of ideas. That's cool, and that you could bring another player in to have some fun. We'll love to see that. So I'm excited about playing these Black Seas smaller games.
Yeah.
More than I am the big ship of the line games.
Like the.
These are a lot more fun.
Yeah. They tell a better story. I mean, yeah, there's like one in the book, there's the Trafalgar, which...
Oh, yeah. I can't afford that big a fleet.
Neither can I.
Historically speaking, most of the naval engagements were 1 or 2 ships against 1 or 2 ships. It's usually 1 to 1. And I think we might even be able to do a Clash of Heroes campaign with this, where we play...
Oh.
Yeah.
Combining that in Smugglers Run?
Sort of. But not quite. Well, actually, we could. But I'm thinking more in lines of we are running either 2 privateers or a privateer, well, even each. We're each a privateer, or one of us is a privateer, the other one's a Royal Navy, regardless of what country you're from. A Royal Navy captain who's sent out to deal with that privateer, and sometimes we'll facing each other off, like the one Smugglers Run campaign or game. Or it's literally the privateer against merchants, or escorted merchants, and there's a lot of things. So that's a noodling idea I've got. Play around with that, because there's so many historical battles that were all about the privateer. I mean, look at John Paul Jones. That's what he did. He was a privateer, and all he was doing was raising havoc with the Germans, the British merchants, until finally the Serapis got
Germany didn't have a navy.
Not like this, nope. So that's an idea. I mean, so playing around with it again. The idea of these smaller ships, it really adds a lot more flavor, because
they can do a lot more too,
and they swing both ways. As far as you can knock them out relatively easily, but just as easily they could knock you out, unless when you go in 3rd rate versus 3rd rate. It takes a while to slug each other down until you get, which is very historically appropriate.
Right.
It was never easy to pull down any of the ships of the line.
But yeah, you get a brig with a lucky stern or bow rake on a 3rd rate. You're going to do just as much damage when that thing turns to shoot you.
Yeah, and we had a lot of good rakes in this campaign. It was a lot of fun to see some of those things happen.
Which I don't think we saw a lot of in the Naval Academy. I think we saw way more in this.
Yeah, we did.
The wind was just as devastating to me in this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was. That's true.
That is my arch nemesis, is the wind.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
But yeah, I think we could hedgehog up this campaign.
Yeah.
For round 2 eventually. I'm not against that. Like I said, my initial even with the Naval Academy was, you didn't really have anybody to play this. I knew you liked doing the models. I don't know if the model train guy in you.
Yes.
And I felt bad about it. I was like, you know what? Let's teach me this game like you did both action. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't like it, I would flat out tell you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You're not one to play just because.
There are times this game irritates me because of the wind, and I still have a problem wrapping my head around the advanced rule wind. I'm starting to get it.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, I'm into the wind now. Whoops.
Yeah. It is harder to get used to.
It does make the game feel better.
I think so too, which is why I wanted to use that in this campaign, because it did feel a lot better. And it forced some positions that, in good and bad. I mean, I didn't like having to go to light sail sometimes, but I needed to go that way, and It
I didn't
slowed me
like
down.
half my fleet that last game having to do attack checks when the wind changed. That was great.
Yeah.
The wind would have gone the other way. It would have been better.
Perfect for you, yeah. Yeah, it's a good thing I was anchored when that happened. But I was in the position where I was already downwind, so the wind change did not affect me at all. But that is not cannot be said for you. And all the times we've had wind changes, they usually hurt you.
There's one game. I don't remember what game it was. It was either
During the Academy Series, you lost a couple games strictly because of the wind. I had nothing to do with it.
At least I didn't have any mast snap or anything.
That's true. Yeah, you didn't have any really bad situations.
But yeah, I'm happy with this game. I don't know. The other thing I don't know, and part of it is because of my strange... I don't know how to explain this. My strange obsession with just... Especially nowadays, because you've introduced the very bad game to me of Erewhon, where I look at a model or a model range, and I'm like, I could make an army out of that.
Yeah. Erewhon is very good for that.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
So I don't know, like... I think I have... Of what I own, I don't even think I own nearly as much as you. No, I know I don't own as much as you, boat-wise.
Boat-wise, no.
No.
Yeah, no, you don't. Nope, you kept it nice and simple.
I have a nice core, and I'm like, I don't know what I want to add to it, because it's just like... I mean, yeah, I'd like to get another box of Briggs, I think, maybe, just because I'm starting to like using them as attack dogs and screens.
Yeah. Yeah, because you only have 4, right?
Yeah, I have 4.
Yeah. And so if you wanted to run 5 or 6 of them, you would need, the regular frigates and it's like I think you get 2 frigates and 4 brigs in a kit. The Master and Commander I know it's 3 and 6. Not suggesting you get Master and Commander.
I don't.
But so
we don't need 3 copies of that.
But that's so which is what you started with. So the frigates and brigs, so that's why you have 2 frigates and 4 brigs.
And just like little things like finding these.
Oh, those are nice. Yeah.
Finding these and being like, normally I would have looked at these and I was like, before I was playing this, like, what am I gonna do with these? And now it's like I bought 2 more, which I don't know if you're gonna show those off or not.
Once they're painted up, yeah. Because I like those.
I don't mind the cardboard stuff because playing certain games that I've played in the past, all use 2D terrain, and I don't really like 2D terrain. Just because that looks better on the table. Right. It feels more like... Yeah. You look at it when you're playing, you're like, I need to avoid that, where like you can overlook sometimes 2D terrain.
Well, and that's actually why I think the sandbars work great as 2D, because they're always underneath the water. Yeah. But everything else should be above. And some sort of textured 3D works. So all these islands that you've bought or Doug had made, it makes a big difference. Yeah, definitely makes a big difference.
I think these were for Saga, though. I think he used them as hills in Saga.
I think you're probably right. Yeah, I know this one is. Yeah, this is a Saga hill, but it works really well for these. And I don't know what these are.
I have no idea what he was doing. They may be Guildball terrain. I don't know. I don't know what. Because there's rough ground in Guildball. I have no idea. He may have built them just for this too.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah, no, I know about the towers and the fortresses that you put them up on the rocks, but other than that, yeah. No, that's good. And I think what I'd like to do is, I've seen some of the terrain. It's just massive, with the custom made, these, like Terrain Tutor did one huge. I mean, it's probably about 3 foot long, stands about that tall. It's beautiful.
Cliffside.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, it's fantastic, but I think that's just not the right scale for something like this.
I mean, you could do it. If you can find, because the problem is going to be finding buildings, because you could build something like that and build like a town up on it.
Oh yeah. Oh no, definitely. No,
like there was that one where I was leaving the port or guarding the port or something like that. That'd be a cool.
Yeah.
The only problem is if it's this high, you're gonna have to come in like this when you're doing your boats and stuff.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. There's something a little smaller, because when you look at some of the headlands and things, you don't want it to take up too much room on the table. You want it to have some more of a scenic effect. Now, what I'd like to do is, instead of these small islands like this, which are nice, have larger islands that are, 2 foot or something, big enough where we could have rules about blocking wind, because if you're in the lee of that and the wind is not going to catch sails, no matter what position you are to the sail, the best you're going to do is light sail, and probably not if you're moving toward. So yeah, there's some things you can do with those. But
do the was it in Thailand where it's like the big rock spires coming like from the only movie that I can think of. I know they've been in a couple, but the first movie that comes to mind when I think of that is The Man with the Golden Gun.
Yeah, yeah. But those are the kind of things we can do, and that's kind of what these kind of make me think of. Are those kind of
the only
points that come up?
Big, like you're talking about that cliff that would be cool to do, and you have to make it wide enough. And it would, I don't know how it would look on the table, how it would play on the table. Is if there's a terrain piece at our game store.
Which one?
The tunnel.
Oh yeah.
If you did, it's like this big foam core thing. It's for 40K and it's got a tunnel through it. It's like a mountain with a tunnel through it. If you did something like that for this, but you'd have to make it like like at least maybe like 9 inches wide for the hole.
Could be
or no.
Yeah. No. At least 7. At least 7.
Yeah, so you have the 1 inch to go
through. For the bigger ships.
Yeah.
But one of the things that's actually the terrain tutor did something like that at the end of it. So it came down. There was an archway, and then the rest of it. Beautiful. Looks fantastic. But yes, that could be something fun to do. Actually have rules for that. You just have to make sure it's tall enough. A good 5 inches tall, so you can clear it. There's a lot of good ideas. So yeah, this gives us a whole nother way to play. I like this. And we'll probably play more, instead of the Smugglers Run campaign, more. So we'll come up with another narrative. And it might be a Clash of Heroes.
Clash of Smugglers.
Yeah, it could be. So we enjoyed playing Smugglers Run. It opened our eyes to a lot of more fun that you can have with Black Seas compared to what we have experienced in the past. Not that the other normal scenarios aren't fun or anything, but using the smaller ships in this format, I think, has a lot more fun to it, a lot more variety. So we're going to be doing some more. So stick around. Between Clash of Heroes and this, you'll start seeing a balance between Black Seas and
a couple of
bolt action. Yeah.
A couple other things we have planned.
Yes, true. All right. So thanks a lot for sticking around. Share, like, and subscribe. We'll see you in the next video, whatever that happens to be.
Yeah.